Hey everyone, I just wanted to come and show you a little bit of the next step, which would be the words for the How Great Thou Art cup. And there was a couple people who had asked me, how do I weed when the lettering is so small? So I've already started on some of them. And like I said before, I just used the Cricut removable black vinyl. And then this Siser, see if I can show you the label. Yeah, it's Siser Easyweed Electric HTV Rose Gold. And it looks like this. And this goes over top of the black. But I just wanted to get on and give you a little tip of how I weed whenever it's so small. So we have this. It says thou. So I'm just going to take a top corner with my weeding tool. And normally, sometimes whenever you just go and pull it down, your words can come up. I like to, if I have a space right here, I will cut it and just do like the top and then do the bottom. Because that way, if anything pops up, it's so easy to go in and push down or to fix. So see how it's getting in between that H in there? Probably can't really tell, but it makes weeding so much easier. Pulls up the U and then you just come right around and you get the bottom. That's up in that H. And we're going to come up into that T, and it should just weed pretty easy for you. I like cutting them in half. It works a lot better for me. And then go in and get, you know, all the little stuff that you have to get from the inside of the letters. But I will be right back to show you everything weeded and then getting ready for the placement of it on your cup. So I'll be back. Okay, so we are back. I have everything cut out and ready to go. I guess first we should start with your cup. It should already have at least a layer or two of epoxy on it to get this chunky glitter covered. It should already be good to go. I sanded my top and the bottom because they get kind of rough. So from here you're going to need the black Siser vinyl that you should have already cut out your words. I will link the video below to the tutorial that I use on how to make your words with Phonto and getting that offset with that Phonto app. There's also a video that I used on YouTube that I'll link below as well. If you don't have the Phonto app, you can use the Cricut design space. It's just a lengthier process. It's going to take you a little bit longer. So you should also have your words cut out in the Siser Easyweed vinyl. And it says it right in the name. It's super easy to weed. This really thin stuff, super, super easy. I mean, it peels right up. There's no problem. So you're also going to need a heat gun. This is one that I took from my husband. It was just from Harbor Freight, I believe. I've seen other people use embossing tools, those little ones. But also a quick tidbit, the transparent clear transfer tape I use is just from the dollar store. It's with the shelving liners, so it's $1. It's super cheap, and I love it because it's not too sticky. So first we're going to get ready, and we're going to put the black down first. So I liked how I did mine like in steps, but first I'm going to take my cup and I'm going to find the top of my cross here, and I'm going to just follow it back, and I'm going to know that that is my center on the other side. So I like to just lay out my words just for placement as to where I'm going to have them. Just so you can get an idea. And like now I know I have to scoot over a little bit with some. So once you get these placed, you can then move on. So I'm gonna place these on here just however I want them, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we added the words in black vinyl. So now we have to do the heat transfer vinyl over top. And I don't know if I mentioned before, but I did sand this whole thing, and I like to sand it even if it feels like it's perfectly fine, just to make sure that it's even. So when you apply your vinyl, there's no bumps, there's no lumps, it's just good to go. It's a nice flat, clean surface. And after I sand, I do wash with just a little bit of Dawn and my hand just to get it dry. And then I make sure it's dry before I apply, you know, this vinyl. And they're all separate. It's not one big piece. I just stagger them however I like, whatever look I'm going for. So I did grab just an old t-shirt because I have seen people like using the heat guns and they can get burned if they don't have like gloves on or anything. I didn't use gloves. I actually, whenever I first did my cup, I had a hoodie on, and I used my hoodie to press down on my heat transfer onto the black. And that was a learning experience as well, because I realized I guess the material that the sleeves are of the hoodie, how they have the little lines in them, if you push too hard, you'll be able to see the fabric texture in your words, which this actually has, but it's very hard to tell on camera. So I just grabbed an old t-shirt that I'm going to just smooth it out with, and we're gonna go for it. So my cup, my heat transfer that's already weeded, I'm just going to place over top of however I want my offset to go, right over top of that. So I have it lined up just how I want it, just like that. I'm gonna take my heat gun on low. I know some don't have settings, but mine has a high and a low. I'm just gonna take a low and make sure that it's, you know, stuck on there. I'm just gonna heat it up a bit. Moving in small circles and pushing down lightly. Just be careful not to burn yourself. I'm just gonna stop and just gently push down a little bit, just rubbing a little bit in small circles, not too hard, just to make sure we're sticking in all places. So I don't know if you can see, I'm just gently rubbing with a t-shirt. That's it. I'm gonna go back again. And be careful not to heat up your cup too much, because you can also mess that epoxy up if you are staying in one place for too long. So move it around, make sure you're getting those ends and those loops of the fancy script letter. And again, I'm just gonna go back, gently press on any little wings or anything that you have of lettering. And then I check it, like I peel up a little bit and I see if it's nice and if it's sticking really nice. And this is not yet, so we're gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep lightly pressing, letting that heat do its job. Use this t-shirt again, just push down lightly. Okay. Be very careful. And you just peel right up. And there you go. So we're just gonna continue to do this. Now, like I said, be careful because this heat can really mess with your epoxy. You could leave a fingerprint or something if it gets reactivated because of that heat. So just be very careful. You can even skip the great and go right to thou if you're worried about, you know, messing with this. I think, however, you know what? No, I'll skip great and I'll go straight to thou. We'll give this some time to cool off in between so that we don't mess anything up. And we're gonna keep going. Just make sure everything is clean. You have all of this weeded correctly, that there's no little tiny things up in here or down here, because they'll get stuck to the cup too. So I'm gonna need to grab thou. No hairs or anything. All right, so we're gonna come down here, line it up. Okay, and take my heat gun. See, it's nice and lined up on that cup. Just how I want it. I'm gonna make sure that it's stuck down. Take that heat gun. Not too close, not too hot. Make sure you don't burn your fingers. I'm gonna give it a minute. Take that t-shirt, push down. And even be careful with, you know, what you have already done that's drying. Like, I don't know if you could still, you probably could, because if it's still warm, like up top on the how, if you were to touch it, you could leave a fingerprint. So just be very gentle with it. I'm just rubbing. I'm going to do a little more heat. Rub a little more, and then I'm going to check on it and see if it's sticking, so that we can move along. Not sticking. It needs a little bit more heat. We're going to do it one more time. Get a little spot peel up. All right, one more time. And we're just going to apply a little bit of pressure with that t-shirt as we rub. Rub, rub, rub. Apply a little bit of pressure. Make sure everything is sticking. All right, I'm gonna try peeling it up this time. And this Siser Easyweed, I should have mentioned, is you can peel it when it's hot or cold. So you can peel it as soon as you're done, and it's no problem. So now I'm gonna go back up and do great. Just repeating this process, taking my time, don't rush it, treat it very gently, because you don't want to mess up the epoxy with the heat. So just be very careful, as always, with the whole cup. And I will link everything below, all the tutorials that I have watched, all of the fonts that I used. I'll link all that below, all of the vinyl. So it's starting to come together. We have great right there. Just pressing it on, applying that heat. Watch your fingers. Okay, going to 1 second. Okay, so all I did was follow the same steps that I had been doing, just putting that heat transfer vinyl over top of my black, just like so. Just using that heat gun on low, taking a t-shirt that, you know, shows no texture. I actually took this one inside out, so there was no like knobbies or fuzzies or anything. And just again, working in that circular motion to peel it up, and be careful peeling it because of the epoxy. So then after this, you are ready for your final layer of epoxy. And that's it. And you did it. So, yeah. All you have to do is make sure you get, your nice seal, put this baby back on your turner, and call it a day. You're done. You have done it. Go you. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to link the font and the vinyls that I used. Size-wise, for the words, play around with it. I do them individually, and I type it all out on Phonto, on that app that I will link the tutorial to, and I link them separately. I don't make it like this. I just type them out one on top of the other so that when I print them or cut them, I use less vinyl that way. It's not all spaced out. If you want to even make them, come closer together, that's fine too, to save vinyl. Because if you tear them, you're creating a lot of wasted space in your blank areas. So I do that to save money, and that's about it. So if there's anything you have a question with, let me know. I'm gonna do the final layers of epoxy on this one, and this one's ready to go. So thanks for watching, and I hope that I helped you. And let me see your creations whenever you're done with them. I'll see you later.